Hi everyone, welcome back to another edition of my videos, and today I've got a really beautiful puzzle to show you. This one has the following stipulation. It is white to move and to checkmate in 9 moves. See if you can solve it, pause the video if you wish to, and see if you can solve this. White to move, checkmate in 9 moves. And I just want to give you a friendly reminder, if you do like this puzzle, make sure you leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you do want to see some more puzzles like this. Hit the notification bell to get more puzzle notifications like this. I'll be doing uploadings of puzzles every single day for 2022. Okay, so as always, if you want to skip straight to the solution, I will post the timestamp for this. But let's have a look at this particular puzzle. So I was shown this puzzle. This was shared to me on a Discord server that I'm on. And the player who shared this, he said that this was one of the most beautiful compositions. In fact, he said it was the top 3 compositions that he's ever seen in his entire life. I went to put this position, so I pasted the solution. I put it onto a database, but no results came back of who the author was. I put it then through the other database that I've got, this German database. I had to translate some German to English, and in the translator's notes he says that they weren't able to find an author for this particular puzzle. So very interesting. I've never shown a video on this channel where I've not credited the composer or credited the author, but this particular puzzle, however beautiful this may be, doesn't seem to have any author. I know I've got some very passionate people on this particular channel who do watch these videos. If you do know the composer, please let me know. I can then put it in the description below in this video. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this puzzle. So there's a few things to note about this position. So number 1, white is in a lot of danger here. That's pretty obvious. He is down 7 points in material. And not only that, black has got a number of threats against the white king. I think the biggest one is the fact that the queen can come to g5. So if white doesn't do anything fast here, he doesn't do anything forcing, queen to g5 followed by queen to g7, this is checkmate. So for example, we don't want to be doing moves like g4, however tempting these might be. Check, goes there, check, mate, and it's a very simple win. Other moves that don't particularly work here, if let's say, I don't know, we try and do something stupid like this. You know, sometimes my puzzles have these weird solutions where you have these weird king moves. Again, this just fails to this. And there's also some other problems really, I mean, namely also this as well as potential threat, as the white queen will have to block. And bear in mind, black is really far ahead of materially here, so he'd be happy to do loads of exchanges here to win the game. So we have to be careful how we tread here. So really, all we can really do in this position is just come up with a lot of forcing moves. Well, before I mention about the forcing moves, I first need to talk about the king here. So the king, at the minute, has not got much breathing room. In fact, the only squares it can go to at the moment is f5 and f6. He can't come to e7 because this knight guards the way. Obviously, the knight on e6 and the pawn on e5 block its pathway. And then the king controls these squares via opposition, and these pawns do a nice job in creating a little prison around the black king. So this is quite important, as this will help us in working out the solution, because the king has not got huge amount of squares it can go to. So we need to come up with something forcing here, because remember, we're about to get blasted off the board. We're about to lose in a very brutal fashion to black here. So to find a forcing move, we need to look for things like checks, captures, things along those lines. In this particular puzzle, we need to find a check here. So have we got any checks in this position? Well, the knights can't do any checks. This knight legally can't do any checks. These pawns, unless they suddenly are granted superpowers, they can't be doing any checking. So it's only the queen that can do any checks here. But let's have a look at the 2 squares. We can probably discount this move, queen to g6, well, this fails immediately to checkmate. So yeah, let's not talk about this one. So the only other checking move that makes any sense here, although it looks a bit ridiculous, is the move queen to f5. So this is the start of our solution. This is the start of our combination to win this. Now the king will capture here on f5. And here we still need to be a little bit careful. So we have got 3 available checks to us. And remember, we've only got to keep doing forcing moves here, because if we don't, black is just going to blow us off the board with his queen here, or his extra material that he's got here. So we've got to be a little bit careful. So the move, I'll talk about the first move that doesn't work in this position, is the move g4. This just fails pretty easily. There's a few different ways that you can win this, but I think just a simple way, just to sort of show you that this doesn't work, is king to f4. The king is going to run into the countryside, and it's going to be a very simple win with this king coming, this queen coming, sorry, to g6, delivering checkmate with the pawn. So this definitely doesn't work. So g4 doesn't work. What else can we try? Well, knight to e3 is a better try. But this fails, unfortunately, because after the king comes back to f6, we haven't really got any more useful checks in this position. If we take this rook, this is no good. As the rook captures back, black will be happy to do this, as bear in mind he is very far ahead materially, and we've already just sacrificed the queen just a minute ago. So you definitely won't be happy to do this. And if we come to g4, this looks nice. But black has got a good counter to this. He can actually sacrifice his queen, and after f takes on g4. Who would you much rather be in this position? Well, for me, it will be black. He is up 10 points materially in this position, and there does not look to be any attack in sight. So going back, so knight to e3 doesn't really work in this position. The same as well if we try and do any stuff after this. Oops, sorry. After this, and I don't know, maybe something like g4 again. Fails, just a simple queen to g6 checkmate here, or even h8 as well. This is also checkmate. So knight to e3 does not work in this position. So another forcing move that does work though is knight to e7. This comes with check. The king has to run back to f6. Well, actually it can go back here, but the problem with this particular move is now we can capture this queen. After the king comes back, we can win pretty easily. I think this is this is checkmate. Interesting. I didn't actually look at the solution, but we can checkmate with e3 here, so it doesn't actually have to take. So if the king moves there, that's the solution to that one. That's really interesting. But most likely you're going to see the move rook takes here on e7. Now after this, we have a slight difference in our position. If you go back, when we tried to do king to knight to e3, the problem was when we tried to take this rook could capture back really easily. But now there's a slight change in the position, because after this, knight here, rook takes, we can now play knight to e3 with check, king goes back to f6, we take on d5, this comes with check again, king has to go back to f5, and remember these guys are doing such a good job in keeping the king closed off in this area. Now we can take on e7, this comes with check, king to f5, we check again on g8, king to f5, knight to e7 check, king to f6, and finally in this position we can win with the following moves. We go back to g8, it comes with a draw, we just go for a draw. That's it, that's the whole solution. No, kidding, okay. Now this doesn't happen, so naturally we now go knight to d5 check. The king has to run to f5, it's the only legal square it can go to, and I'll let you do the honour of finding the checkmate in one here. The checkmate in one is, of course, g4. Ooh, I love it. Such a cool solution there. So just going back, just to show you that from the beginning, at first we have to sacrifice this queen, and then this knight goes on an epic journey, delivering checks all over the place. So like this, 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 this. Oh, amazing stuff. And then finally this g4 with checkmate. Really cool puzzle, that one. Thank you to the person who shared this with me. As I say, if you do know who the author is, do let me know. I'll try and post it on my video in the description below. But as always, thank you for watching. If you made it to the end, thank you for that. I appreciate your support. And if you want to leave a like, share this with a friend, by all means do so. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.